without having any medal. All of that kind of discussion was going back and forth. Says, what did our great Golden Girl did? What did she do? What did she do with those fairs? She ran the race. That's the first thing. Welcome, Dennis. Thank you so much. We're glad to have you on the show, Transforming Lives. And we are having a conversation on this beautiful Sunday about greatness. And we are celebrating the greatness of our two athletes, Shawnee Miller and Mr. Stevie Gardner, having done great things. And we're trying to use their life and their platform of greatness as we celebrate and we congratulate them. And we're trying to pull out some more Shawnees and some more Steves in our country, because we know there are lots of Shawnees and Stevies out there. And so we're trying to use their script of life to see how we can apply it every day and achieve greatness, whether it's in sports or whether it's in other aspects of our lives. And so we were talking about Shawnee's race and what happened in the 200. I mean, you remember what position she placed. I'm hoping you're giving me some feedback. I can't hear you, but I'm hoping that you're giving me some feedback out there. She placed 8. What would you have done? What do you think you would have done? You have prepared for the race. You have prayed, because in the Bahamas, we're a religious nation, so we're going to incorporate prayer. So I'm sure she had lots of prayer in there. She had lots of practice in there. And she said that she was, at that particular time, she was experienced pain in her body, but she was prepared to push forward, because that's what we're talking about. Greatness do not quit in the process unless there is a justifiable reason. So we had somebody who was great, who did quit, and she had a justifiable reason why she quit. But when you're celebrating greatness, right? You want to be great, you have to go through the process. And in going through the process, sometimes you would experience what some people call failure. So in that particular race, she wanted the gold. She wanted, if she couldn't get the gold, I'm sure she wanted a medal. She wanted the medal. But unfortunately, she came in 8th place. Could you imagine someone of her caliber coming in when there's so much pressure on her to bring in the gold, and she came in 8th position? But I am so glad when we talk about transformation did take place at the Olympics. Could you imagine? Maybe Transforming Lives was there. That's where we got transformation took place at the Olympics, because we're going to talk about her sharing. Okay, we have Keith. In a minute, I'm going to shut up and allow Keith to make his contribution. I hope I can get his mic unmute. But transformation took place and so I'm not going to go any further. I'm going to see if we can unmute them out, because this is big, this is large. Sometimes in our lives, we want to quit at this point, but here's the example of greatness. She didn't quit. Let's see if we can get Keith in with his contribution. Keith, is your mic on? You're able to?
Good evening, all. Hi. Is it unmuted?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. First of all, I'd like to say a hearty congratulations to Shanae and Mr. Gardner. What a phenomenal job, man. Listen.
Absolutely.
The whole Bahamas stopped when the race started. It's like stopped, and everybody was tuning in, man. I know. Listen, I could hear the applause across the street. I mean, I'm in the college, but I'm hearing the applause everywhere.
Roaring
applause. Make us real proud.
Roaring applause.
Yeah, they make us real proud.
Yes.
Greatness is not achieved in one day.
Oh, that's a good one.
Greatness will not achieve. I tell people, how many hundreds of times they had to run around that track? How many hundreds of weightlifting sessions they have to have? How many therapy, massage therapy, and adjustment in the back? You know how many sacrifice they have to make? Listen, as a former athlete, I used to do bodybuilding.
Oh.
And at a point, 6 months out of a competition, you had to cut out salt, sugar, and fried food. How many of
What?
us willing to sacrifice these things to achieve a goal? It's hard work, but hard work pays off. You know, imagine them have to juggle between school work, college work, family, social life. All these are sacrificed. When the other guys going out to party, you like, oh, I can't go to no party because I gotta be at 5 o'clock because I gotta be at the track at 6. Oh, I can't drink this alcohol, or I can't experiment with this little things because if it's found in my system
Mm-hmm.
and I test positive, I'm gonna be in trouble. I worked at the anti-doping station in Nassau when we had the Crifter Games and all those things. And what as a part of the anti-doping association, you get random calls to say, okay, say I get a call, hey Keith, go and check Dave out. I have to show up to Dave's house, and wherever Dave is, they have to give me a sample.
Wow.
So if he's on his off season and he put nonsense in his body, I could show up and he have to give me a test. And if he tests positive, you know what that is.
Wow.
So that means all year around, you have to be doing clean stuff, eating clean, no, very little alcohol. The U.S. athlete the other day, she was so stressed, she smoked a joint, but she couldn't go to the Olympics. You remember that?
Yes, correct.
She could not go. She made that crazy decision because she was stressed. Yeah, okay, fine. I'm not knocking her. People do things for different reasons.
Because if you need a mental break, sometimes that's bravery. That's the best thing you could do. So it depends on circumstances. Yes.
Right. And so you can't knock people when people do good because they sacrifice. Why you and I going partying, eating bad and doing other stuff? These guys are 100% strict. So everybody, you know, if you want to achieve greatness, and greatness is not all the time achieved on the track or on your job, but my point is you have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice. It ain't gonna come easy. It's not gonna come overnight. But if you keep packing it, it's just like a schoolwork. You think you go sit in one class and become a doctor? Oh, when that happens, please let me know because I would like to become a doctor in one day. So again, I encourage people, whatever you're doing in life, you got to sacrifice to get it, man. You got to sacrifice to get it, and sacrifice and hard work will pay off.
Wow, I love that. And I love that you normalize, because one of the things that sometimes we make the mistake of doing, we try to make those persons superhuman, right? So yes, they've achieved superhuman feat, but what they did, they took a human approach to achieve it. You understand? They didn't have wings and fly. They just took discipline. They set a big goal, like we said, and they had the discipline and went through the process. And so it's the same thing with us, you know, in addressing our affairs on our way to discipline. I'll tell you one of the things that I've discovered, and it's along the same sport lines. One of my fairs was about swimming. So just talking about, now I'm not in nowhere great, but I feel great about addressing this particular fair. As a child, I almost drowned as a child. You know, you go to the water and you have your little cousins, they're falling behind you. And my cousin was drowning. And in that death grip, my cousin, I was older, but he was able to pull me under the water. Oh, and that gave me, my father had to come and rescue us. That gave me a tremendous fear as I grew up of water. Once my feet reached a certain point, I used to panic. And I decided this particular year, with COVID and all, let me sit down and address some of these things, because I want to be great. Like I said, I want to leave a great legacy behind for myself and my children, and for others. And so what I've learned from addressing swimming was that you had to take it. I had some horrible time I can tell you, in the pool, trying to address that fear. But each time the coach encouraged me to, just take one step, process week after week. And now I'm to the point where I'm so proud of myself. I can go in the water and I can survive. It was all
Right.
about process and pushing past the fear. So you're spot on when you say you just have to push past and the sacrifices. I had to make many sacrifices, look like a fool in the pool, which meant making myself vulnerable in all my fears. You understand? But still pushing past it. That's how you achieve greatness. So I'm so grateful for that contribution. And
Thank you.
where were you? Where were you when because I was talking about the 800. Did you see the 800, the very first? No, sorry, not the 800. I think it was the 200.
200, yes.
200 where she came. I was counting the place, 8th place. Where were you when that race came on?
I
you
was
watch
at
it?
work. I was at work watching it, right? And I was disappointed, like, oh my God, what happened? And,
Okay.
and we knocked her until I realized, like, you don't know what happened. What happened?
Okay,
What
I'm
happened?
glad that you're being honest. I'm glad that you're being because
Yeah.
a lot of Bahamians took to Facebook. And
Yes, yes.
that's that I want to address on this way to greatness. One thing you have to, because using her example, she ignored the naysayers. She knew where she
Yes.
wanted to go, right?
Yeah.
But the second thing, for those of us who are watching and are not, we're not the performers, we're not going in that, we were just spectators. We were not in the ring moving towards greatness. You
See,
understand?
a lot of people like me before I think, right? This girl she made the finals.
Yes,
She made the finals.
they totally ignored that. Many
We
persons.
ignored that. She made
Yes.
the finals. That in itself it's
That's big.
remarkable.
Yes.
All
yes.
we look at, and a lot of people only look at, this is another point, look at success as being number one. And that is so crazy.
Yes.
That's not always number one.
That's true. And they said success is the achievement of a noble goal, the achievement and the process that you go through to achieve that noble goal. All of that is a part of the process and who you become as you achieve that noble goal. So that's very true. A lot of persons, a lot of us not. And so talking about transformation, talking about greatness, if we as a people and a country want to continue to pursue greatness, let's learn our lesson.
Yes.
As opposed to criticizing, let's use the God that we say in us. We say we're a Christian nation, right? So our response as a Christian should not be like that. Our response should be quick to support and encourage on the path to greatness. So I'm hoping my friends out there that are listening and they're agreeing with us, because a lot of times person watch our show after the rebroadcast. So I want you also to walk away with that. As we pursue greatness, let's encourage each other along the way.
Yes.
So we're back to the 800 race. So we're taking ourselves back to the start of the 800 race and then to the end where she did not make it and the disappointment. I'm sure she must have been disappointment. The hurt, the pain. But then we move, and that's why we say it's a process. She did not stay stuck. Imagine what it took. Imagine, Keith, what it took. And those who are listening around the world, just put on your imaginary cap for a second. What it now must take, because she knows her people. She's a part of she's a Bahamian. She knows her people. She knows about Facebook. And she knows, and she probably even saw some of those feedback. She could have. But the mindset, that's why I said, is who we become along the way. This great woman who had experienced failure, and failure was a part of the process. And we sometimes discredit that we can use our failures as stepping stone to get to our success, to get us to where we go. Very seldom, few persons will pass through greatness without failure. And we fail to recognize that. You agree or disagree with that?
Of course, I totally agree. And this is not her first race that she probably came 8th in. So she like, okay, I did it, fine. That one is gone. I will get him again next time. Like in the last Olympic, remember when they were she got criticized in the last Olympic that she dove? You remember that?
Yes. Yes, I remember.
All right. Watch this Olympics coming up now. I don't care who was in the back of that, try to dive, to try to say, oh, I get her back. It wasn't even that close. So she like, okay, criticize me this year. You all did that thing, nonsense. Last Olympics, here I am, bigger, better, more mature and ready. Come now, come see me now. And I think that's the attitude she have. Come see me now.
A script we can learn from. She was
Yes.
legendary. That's
Yes.
what I call a legend. Both of them, legendary. She
Yeah.
moved past that race and she said, there's another race. This isn't over. This isn't over.
Yeah.
And so I would encourage somebody who is listening and is moving towards greatness, because like I said, we're on the air and having these conversations, not just for conversation purposes. We're having them because we want to live our best lives. That's what transforming is all about. And we know that the God, and we're going to talk about that, because she had a mindset and she had a higher power, somebody that she knew was able to help her push past every single failure and help her to push towards the goal that she knew that was right before her. And so she got up from the race. She got up from the 200, and in the 400, we saw greatness at its best. I mean, it was one of, I think, I'll never forget that particular race. I was ecstatic. I was as proud as a peacock. And if I was proud as a Bahamian and I did not run the race, I didn't do anything but pray for her and wish her well. And I was proud. I was ready to put on all my, everything Bahamian and shout from the rooftop. I can imagine when she reached that goal, that destination. I can imagine the jubilation. I saw her interview, and we're going to move to Stevie very shortly, but I saw in her eyes, I saw that was a warrior, one of a kind. She had achieved her goal. She pressed towards the mark and had achieved her goal. And therefore, the medal, the prize was hers. The prize was hers. So I'm appealing to you to press towards the mark, even if you've had failure. You failed one race, but you still have big goals. Go for those big goals. Use Shanae as the example. Run the race. Run it with patience. Endure to the very end. And we're in a spiritual race, like we were sharing on our last program. So same thing, run with endurance, run with patience. If we make a mistake, don't get out of the race. The most important race of life. Don't get in, remain in the race of life. Remain and finish to the end, because that prize is bigger than any golden man's prize, any medal. It's a prize of life, eternal life. So run your race. So we're back to Shanae. Shanae, congratulations, Shanae, wherever you are listening to us on the program Transforming Life. We are shouting congratulations, and we are using your life model in this instance, in this race. We're using your life as a life book that we're looking through the pages, and we're seeing on this show what we can learn, what life lessons we can learn from what you have done. So she won the medal. This is what I love, right? So this is one of my favorite parts. I don't know what's your favorite part. So you could let me know. So Keith, I don't know, or anybody else there, Dr. McMillan, anybody want to inject what was their favorite part after winning the race, after seeing the victory? What was your favorite part that you see? I can share with you what was my favorite part, but I'm anxious to hear what was yours. But what I love, in the interest of time, I love one of the interviews that were given after she won. I love her interview. Right? So now you done gone through the process and all that. People want to know, how did you do it? And let's see where she gave the glory to, right? I love what she gave the glory. So yes, as a human being, she was in the race. So some of the kudos, yes, and congratulations and all of that belong to her. We will never take away from her achievement. But what she did was, first of all, I love the fact that she was vulnerable. She expressed the fact, her disappointment, right? She expressed the fact that she was in pain. She pointed out all the human elements. And then she spoke about the power that is above all power that she tapped in to press on and push beyond. And so you might be at that point in life where, you need to tap into another power, the higher power, the power that is above all power, when your physical strength, and I saw the tears in her eyes, as the tears dropped from her eyes, because she recognized the fact that in and of her own strength, she couldn't have achieved that accomplishment. She could not in and of her own strength. It was when she tapped into the higher power. That's when the extra speed, that's when the extra tenacity, she was able to push, not just push, she was able to achieve that high degree of excellence, excellence squared, excellence to the next level. And she didn't pause and just pause within herself. She gave God all the honor and all the glory. So I'm glad that in that case, the honor and the glory wasn't just given to herself. And that's what I want to encourage you. As you travel along life road and you strive towards greatness, don't forget the people along the way that help you to accomplish that greatness. Don't forget that. Don't forget them. And then don't forget the higher power that you can tap into. Actually, that's the first power you need to tap into. The higher power that you can tap into to achieve that greatness. The 400 was one of the most, for me, outstanding races of the entire Olympics, because we did it. We did not just achieve the goal, but we achieved it in style. We achieved it in style. She went far beyond the expectation, and there could be no other further discussion as to whether she won. It was a clear victory. And so that's how I want us to run the race of life, that at the end of the day, when we depend on Jesus Christ and what he has done for us, that our faith is so intertwined with his faith and what he has done on our behalf, that when our names are called, that when our Savior look on the record, we would pass through because of Jesus. We wouldn't just barely pass. We will pass through victorious because of the process that we took, which is the process that he has dictated for us. So that was Shanae. She did it, and kudos to her once again on behalf of Transforming Lives. I see the one and only Roger Bain has joined us, and I'm going to get your feedback, Roger, because we know on this show you always have something to say about transformation. We're talking about the gold medal, and we're talking about greatness, and we're talking about two of our athletes. We said all of our athletes who arrived, they were great. They went through the process, but we were talking about these two athletes, Shanae, and I was just pausing and reflecting on her life and the process that she took to achieve that gold. And I was using that process to encourage others. So Roger, I wonder, you can open up, let me know where you were and what you thought about the races and the fact that she had such great success. Share with our audience your view. Are you there, Roger? Can you unmute your mic and let us know what you think about her contributions, Shanae's contribution?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I did so many things. I think it was gave a good feeling and just a positive energy throughout the whole country. Everybody was happy. I think it inspired us because, truth be told, I think a lot of people were thinking with not getting to the finals, some of them, and the way the 4x400 relay, the ladies performed, it wasn't shaping up like, quote unquote, a successful Olympics. But I think with Stephen Gardner, the way he started off, ended things with that goal, and also Shanae closing everything. I think it was a nice bow on a kind of rocky start. But one of the things that stand out to me and is an interesting footnote as far as the significance of these Olympics for the athletes. Because Stevie Gardner, that was his first, he was the first Bahamian male to get an individual goal, which I thought puts him on a whole nother level.
Whole
That
nother
history.
level.
Yes, and also with Shawnee, the lady who she beat twice, Alex Felix. Alex Felix got the all-time record as far as U.S. athlete, track and field athlete with 11 medals, and she has seven goals, but of the 4 non-goals she has, Shawnee beat her twice. So Shawnee denied her twice in a sense of getting maybe that 8th and 9th goal. So I thought that was special because that showed that Shawnee wasn't a fluke in some people's eyes when she dived that last Olympics. So that's legendary when you could get multiple individual goals.
Oh,
So I thought those were significant.
And I wanted to just pause right there, and you remain right on. I want to just pause in that point because you talk about competition, and both of them had stiff competition. I mean, Stevie had some. I mean, the best of the very best running in his race, and I think sometimes when we are in our race, striving to be the best, right? We have competition, and we get discouraged by our competition. But I'm hoping that learning from their life book, that we would recognize the fact that what we need to place our confidence. First of all, we need to be confident that we can finish and not to get discouraged by our competition. Expect the competition, expect it. And then figure out a way to navigate the competition. And both of them obviously figured out a way to navigate the competition.
And I think
commendable.
I was thinking as far as which, is the most important thing is run your own race.
Yes.
Because even in the case of business, where you see, a lot of copycats and, a competitive business environment, everybody's seeing what somebody doing and their success and following up with that. It's best to listen to God and, let him guide you and follow your own path and have that faith in what you have to bring to the market, run your own race, basically.
That's a good one. If you're going to be great, you have to run your own race. I love that. Somebody need to use that as a hashtag. If you're going to be great, you need to run your own race. So while I have you on, I want to go on to, in the interest of time, the one and only, the amazing, the Iron Man, Mr. Stevie Gardner. Now, I claim it, he's a gardener, so I claim him as my family. I don't know if that he's some distant relative, but in any event, I claim him as he's a Bahamian. So he is one of ours, and we pause in this moment in time to celebrate and to recognize his accomplishment. So where were you? Could you remember where did you watch the race from? Could you remember that moment? Let's go back to that time.
I was hearing the news on Facebook, social media. I did just watch a rebroadcast posted on YouTube.
Okay, that's good. A lot of people, Facebook is powerful. So a lot of people took that approach. They watch a rebroadcast. And what was your favorite part of the race? Was there any particular part that was your favorite part of the race? Start, middle, end, or straight through?
I did. It stand out that he, in a sense, ran his own race. He was really calm and when the guy, it's amazing how they could keep that composure when Kalani James of Grenada was ahead of him and the other guys and still had that confidence and didn't let that change his plan of his race and how he just came in front of them. It was awesome, man.
I totally agree with you. I love that word that he was confident from my perspective. and he was calm. He knew what he was there to do, and he was prepared to execute that. And he allowed nothing or no one to stop him from executing that which he had set out his mind to do. And so when we in traveling and facing life, we need to have that same kind of focused approach to life. Don't get so rattled, and I'm talking to myself, rattled by whatever is happening on the sidelines. Don't get so rattled. Expect those things, and then navigate those things. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
Well, I'm just looking at some of his achievement. Excuse me. He won silver. I think, yes, silver in 2007 at 17, sorry, at the World's Game. So, he didn't come to the Olympics as a novice. He competed continuously, right? And he had I'm sure he's had successes, and you heard of some failures. And that's part of the process, like we said, successes and failures, but pushing through to the very end. And in pushing through to the very end, he was able to move past. Now I want to pause, and I know I might get in some trouble about this, but Roger, because you're a Facebook viewer, so I want to pause, and I want to talk to those on Facebook that sometimes use Facebook as a weapon. That's what I think some persons do. They're on Facebook and they're idle, and there are people who are trying to achieve greatness. That's where they're striving towards, and they don't realize that they are trying to impact the mentality of people with small minds, trying to negatively impact greatness. So you heard some chatter, and I don't know if you saw some of that chatter on Facebook. Really chatter that I really thought that it was unacceptable when somebody is trying to pursue greatness. So right back to the chatter. We talk about, the first race, and when she lost that race, Shawnee, in Shawnee's case, and we talk now about Stevie and him moving towards that particular goal and some of the chatter along the way. So for those who are listening, whether you're on Facebook, whether you are on YouTube, or whether you are whatever for you in the Zoom room, let's make a determination that if we can't help, we're not going to hinder. What you say about that? Because some of those comments was unnecessary. Welcome, Mr. Dexter Cartwright. Great to have you in the room. What do you say about that? I don't know if you saw some of the chatter on Facebook. Roger?
No, I didn't see any.
You didn't see any? Okay, I don't know if anybody in the room was able to see some of those chatter and could speak to that. Was there anybody in the room, or was it was coming my way? Is there anybody else who can share with me in terms of the chatter on Facebook? Well, if not, in the interest of time, there was some chatter there that could have been a little bit more constructive. Because just like someone said before, you do not know what is happening, why certain things are happening the way that they are. And so to make assumptions without knowing facts, you're not helping the situation. In a case like that, when people go into what's greatness, the best thing you could do to help them, if you don't know how to support them, the best thing you could do is pray. And if you can't pray, what something else you could do? You could stay quiet. You could say to yourself, this is not helpful to someone who's trying to achieve greatness. I want to be able to celebrate with them. I want to be a part of greatness. So the best thing I can do in this instant is to stay quiet. But I am so glad we don't have to stay there. We can go way past that, and we can use their lives as a light book, like we said. We can use them to celebrate, because as a small country, I cannot move past this. In a small country like the Bahamas, when you look at us on the map, We're a dot actually on the map. But a dot is able to produce not one, but 2 gold medals. I say shout out once again to Stevie and Shawnee for allowing us, the Bahamas, the Bahamian people, and then the Caribbean, and then to the larger community, the world, to celebrate their achievement. This great moment in time. I'm sure it's going to go down in the record of history that we're able to achieve gold in 2020. I want to encourage you. We want to encourage you. I want to, first of all, before we end, as I encourage you, because we're moving to the very end, I want to apologize to the one and only Mr. David, to you on behalf of the one and only Mr. David Williams for not being on the show today. Unfortunately, he got tied up in another meeting, but you're here. And I know you want to send him lots of hi. So Dave, wherever you are, we're sending you hi. We missed you. Definitely, we missed you on the show today, but we know you had to do what you have to do. So on behalf of us here at Transforming Live, hello, and go ahead and you do your greatness, because he's into great things. So we know that sometimes you need to make sacrifices. And so this is one of the sacrifices you had to make. You had to miss the show today, but continue to press towards greatness. So as I close, I want to encourage you. So we always bring it full circle. I want to encourage you on the race of life. They were racing at the Olympic. On the journey of life, we're in a race to finish to the end and to get our gold medal. That's the good thing about it. We all can get a medal in this particular race that we're in, the race of life. The good thing about it is not only will we place in a race, our Creator place greatness inside of us. Who does that? Our Creator. He placed greatness inside of us so that we are, when we trust Him and we connect, He placed His Spirit inside of us. He placed His Spirit inside of us. He placed greatness inside of us, that when we connect with His Spirit, that we can finish our race and we can end well. We can finish our race and we can end well. Before I give my closing comment, I don't know if there's anybody on Facebook, Zoom, in the room want to add any, because we always love to give our audience an opportunity to express what he or she might feel about the show, contribution, any shout out that they'd like to give. So before I end the show, we're there, it's 4:59. Let me just give one last opportunity for someone in our room, if you'd like to make a comment, to maybe send a congratulation out to Stevie and to Shawnee, and with regards to a job well done. Anyone in the room would like to send a congratulation using our radio waves, please raise your hand. Feel free to let us know, and we'll unmute the mic.
Well, I guess I got to send out my congratulations and my shout out. What I think about the Olympics, my mind going 2 places. Shawnee, when she came 8 in the 200, and I said, hey, if she have that confidence and that faith, she's going to rebound back. But there's another lady, even though we're talking about the Bahamians, there's another lady, Stefan, I can't remember her name. She actually fell down. I think it was in the 1500. She got up and ran past the park and ran that race. That's the lady. I think she won the 10,000. I think she got a bronze in the 5,000. So, when I think about greatness and when I think about that, and of course, like everybody else, I was proud of Stevie. I was proud of Shawnee. I was proud of, I think she named the Charlton young lady, and many others, because
yes, first, that was great. That was a huge achievement for her. She went up several steps in terms of her game. She went to the next level. So congratulations to her, and congratulations to everyone, like we said, who just even qualified to be there. But go ahead, Dave.
Yes, and so the lessons learned is that, in spite of no matter what, we should not give up. And when we think we're down and out, there's always hope. But I just want to take us off the radio right now. Folks, you've been listening to this program, Transforming Lives on Global 99.5, Cable TV 974, YouTube channel Uplifting Men, Transforming Lives. We want to thank those of you who are tuning in by radio, those of you who are tuning in by cable TV, those of you on Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm Dave Williams, host of the program Transforming Lives. Will continue for another 15 minutes on Zoom. Thank you for joining us. So next week we'll be here. We have a number of young men. We'll be in the Zoom room, and we will talk about some of the challenges our young men face. And so I'm inviting you to join us next week, Sunday, Global 99.5, 4 to 5. And I always end by reminding us that there's nothing more important than your personal relationship with Jesus, not your church, nor your denomination, but your relationship with Jesus. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Bye, everyone. Happy Sunday.
We're still on Zoom, right?
Yes, I think we're about to close off Zoom right now.
Oh, okay. I just want to congratulate Shanae and Mr. Gardner. It felt as though when I was running a race and I wanted. I kept my phone to the TV because I wanted to take a picture of my live picture with my 2 winners. So I took it myself from the TV. I didn't want any secondhand pictures because I knew they were going to be winners.
Well, thank you so much. That's one of my besties. Thank you so much, Francis, for that contribution. Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing that information with me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are so glad for you joining us on this beautiful Sunday on the program Transforming Lives. Like we said, next week, we will have men on our show. Please join us. Show them the support. They need that support. We'll have a very interesting topic, very informative topic. And we invite you to be right back here, same time, same station, Transforming Lives. Goodbye, everybody, and happy Sunday. Bye.